these last 2 matches, that's the form of the NCAA All-American that we saw at the end of last year in the 2014-15 season, where he finished 6th and shocked a lot of people with that finish.
And next up, I am excited for this matchup. There are quite a few matches that I'm looking forward to in this lineup, one of them being at 133 pounds between 2 ranked opponents, Bruno here versus Zane Richards, the number 15 ranked Michigan wrestler versus the number 2 ranked Illinois wrestler.
Zane Richards coming off of a huge victory last week, 5-3 sudden victory over Iowa's Corey Clark, who was then the number 1 wrestler in the country at 133 pounds. So riding some momentum, let's see if he can carry it over here.
16-0 on the season, perfect season so far, looking to continue that here in Ann Arbor. But I tell you what, Bruno had a great performance last week against Ohio State as well. He was able to knock off Johnny DeJulius, the number 8th ranked wrestler in the country.
And that was a huge win in that match for Michigan overall in the meet, because Connor Utsi losing to Nathan Tomasello at 125 pounds and 141 pounds was a struggle as well for Michigan. So that was a huge win to get some momentum and keep the Wolverines in it, as they pulled off a huge win and kind of a minor upset in Columbus.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's an upset. They just knocked off the defending national champs. Can't be much more of an upset if you ask me. And they're both wrestlers unable to get things going here. A lot of feeling out here early in the first period. Working their hand fighting, working the head, underhooks, pummeling in, out. Zane Richards looking like he's getting a little bit of the better here, a little bit better in these exchanges rather. But Bruno's doing a good job keeping his posture, keeping his composure going, not letting Zane Richards set up any shots as of yet. But there he goes again with that deep underhook. He's got double unders now.
Yes, so far a lot of movement from both guys, very active hands and feet.
And I'll tell you though, what Zane Richards is doing is, it's a sign of being a great wrestler. You know, he's working these double underhooks, and sure, he's not getting his shots off of them, but this is a way to wear out your opponent. That constant pressure on your head, bringing you down, underhooking, pummeling in deep, it will drain you as you try to defend yourself against it. And let's see if that plays a part in this matchup. There he goes again with that underhook, looks for that far ankle, maybe far knee for a knee trip. Wow, great wrestling in that exchange. Goes from shot to shot. Neither wrestler getting to score off of that exchange. Back and forth scramble there. Off of Bruno's shot.
That was a great little exchange right there. A lot of action, great wrestling going back and forth between these two guys. And 5 seconds left in this first period. You mentioned, even though Richards hasn't really found that final move to put Bruno down so far in this first period, those are the kind of things that are going to tire him out in the third period. We'll see if that will have an effect.
You know what? I'll tell you, the very interesting thing about the sport of wrestling is that on paper, when you look at Bruno versus Zane Richards, you have a 16-0 wrestler versus a 7-4 wrestler, number 2 in the country versus number 15 in the country. You would not expect that after the first period, those two wrestlers will be deadlocked 0-0.
And it was a great first period, back and forth, plenty of action, and at least there's a score on the scoreboard now with the initial escape there from Zane Richards. We can see head coach Joe McFarland shouting out instructions to his 133-pound wrestler, Bruno.
And he's looking for the 2-point call.
And there it is, 2-point there for Illinois to extend the lead here 3-0.
And sometimes that happens. Rossi didn't get his hips back, tried to go for a scramble position, was unable to get it. And now Zane Richards is on top, and I tell you what, I would not want Zane Richards on top of me. He is a grinder from the top position. As you see here, he has the boot in. He's looking for that tilt. Bruno does a good job, doesn't break 90, doesn't break the plane, gives up no near fall points as of yet.
Bruno has to get his head off the mat here and get his shoulders up.
What my old wrestling coach used to always tell me when I was in that position, when a wrestler's riding deep with that leg in, mule kick, mule kick, mule kick. And what that means is he's got to kick his leg out and sit that hip to the mat just to get that leg out. And then he has to build a base and start moving upwards again.
Yeah, we'll see if Rossi Bruno can build that base. That's absolutely what he needs to do here. Second period comes to a close. 3-0, the score remains. Rossi Bruno, as we see here, 7-4 on the season. You mentioned that huge win that he had against number 8, Johnny DeJulius of Ohio State. Last weekend, he bounced back from a tough loss against Oregon State. But Zane Richards, a great opponent himself, 16-0 on the year.
And let me tell you, what Rossi Bruno needs to do here is he needs to keep his elbows in and catch that leg coming in. There it is. He knew the leg was coming in. He should not let him get to the position that he so wants in this matchup. Now he's in a good position. He needs to get back up to his feet. He's riding a tight waist. There he goes. Needs to break it. 1 point escape. And now the match is deadlocked. This is where matches are won and lost. In the third period, one takedown decides the fate of this match.
With just under a minute and a half here, Bruno needs a 2-point takedown to even up the score. Both guys locked in here.
Again, Zane Richards with those double underhooks. That'll wear you out. I'm telling you, Derek. There is nothing more tiring than someone tugging on your head throughout the match. And that's the kind of wrestler that Zane Richards is. He is a grinder, if you can't tell by his body type.
Brief stop here as Bruno lost his headgear.
Another thing worth mentioning is the extra point of riding time for Zane Richards. If Bruno wants to stay in this match, he not only needs to get the takedown, but he needs to get it with 14 seconds on the clock so that he can negate that extra point of riding time. And then it'll be an overtime match. But he first needs to get that takedown. And with 15 seconds left on the clock, unless he throws him on his back and gets near fall, this match may be over for Rossi Bruno. Zane Richards may win it 4-1 with that extra point of riding time.
5 seconds left here, 3-1, but the extra point of riding time will make it 4-1. So the number 2 wrestler in the country comes up, gets a much needed win for this Illinois team.